On November 28, 2024, the Home Office announced the number of skilled workers sponsored licenses it suspended or revoked in the third quarter of 2024. The increase compared to last year is significant. In the third quarter of 2024, the Home Office suspended 509 licenses and revoked 513. Last year, during the same period, it suspended 91 licenses and revoked 65. This trend of increasing compliance actions has been consistent throughout 2024. So far, this year, Home Office has suspended 1,342 licenses and revoked 1,222, compared to 569 suspensions and 337 revocations for all of 2023. This rise in compliance actions follows the Home Office earlier announcement that it would increase compliance visits to sponsors and strengthen sponsorship rules. These numbers are alarming, and hence today I have Amil from Mac25, an immigration firm based in London, to help us understand the reasons behind Home Office compliance checks. We will discuss why licenses are revoked, cancelled, suspended, or even downgraded, the responsibilities of employers versus employees, the mandatory checks and documents required by employers, and most important, if you are on a sponsorship visa, it is your responsibility to ensure your employer is compliant. But before we dive in, let me introduce myself to those who are new here. My name is Sarika and I have been living in the UK for the past 14 years. Currently, I work as a lead business analyst for one of the world's largest tour operators. In my spare time, I create YouTube videos to help you navigate the global job market and find the perfect study abroad destination. I offer two valuable services that I encourage you to take advantage of. The first is free study abroad assistance service. If you're interested in studying abroad in any of these listed countries, please fill out the form provided in the video description and pin comment. My team will reach out to you to assist you with your study abroad plans. And the second service is paid job assistance service. This is a 3-month coaching and mentoring program designed to make you job ready. It's perfect for those struggling to find a job or secure a visa sponsorship in the UK, Ireland, Germany, Canada, New Zealand, and Australia. If you're serious about your career and want to land your dream job, enroll in this service. Remember, it requires a 3-month commitment and hard work where both you and I will be working together to make you job ready. I've also hired mentors who have successfully landed visa sponsorship jobs with the right strategy, and they're planning to help you guys as well. It's also for people who want to start their career in IT and also start their career as a business analyst, where I will be your mentor. If you need a help, fill out the form in the description and my pinned comment, or simply email me at yourknowledgebuddy@gmail.com. Let's make you job ready soon. So without any further delay, let's get started with today's video by inviting my special guest Amil from Mac25 Immigration. Hi Amil, welcome to my channel, Your Knowledge Buddy. If you don't mind, can you please introduce yourself to my audience?
Hi guys, my name is Amil. I'm an ex-international student.
Yes, I like that.
So I'm an immigration advisor, lawyer, consultant, OIC registered. I have my company based in Canary Wharf, and I help all kinds of businesses and personal individuals in order to make the immigration journey smooth.
Thank you very much. So anybody who requires any legal help, you know where to go, right? So I've got many questions which I'm going to fire straight to you. So my first question is, why so many sponsored licenses are revoked these days?
I think, Sarika, when the licenses are getting revoked, there are multiple reasons. It cannot be just one. So it depends. It varies from companies to companies, industry to industries, and faults to faults, I would say. That what issues the company is having internally, and it could be multiple reasons that why the license is getting revoked. So I think there is not one specific thing I can pinpoint right now, but I think the most common reason I have seen is not having a robust HR system.
Oh, that's one of the common mistake.
The most common, I would
Any
say.
more from what you have seen?
I think the sponsor does not understand their duties and responsibilities, I would say, Sarika, because getting license, and this is the line where I can say that you guys can quote myself, that having a sponsor license is just a beginning phase. Okay, but managing a license and making sure you are abiding by all the rules and regulations by the Home Office is kind of a different story. So let me give you one small example. If you, being a sponsor, you have your license, but you do not understand your duties and responsibilities, there are so many elements in there. And even if you forget to follow even one, then obviously you're subject to getting your license revoked.
So are there guidelines provided by Home Office so that it's a constant reminder for license holders? Yeah.
Exactly. There are so many guidance available, Sarika, on the Home Office portal. There are so many guidances to assist sponsors, to assist them with certificate of sponsorship. There are Appendix A for the documentation, Appendix D for the duties and responsibilities. So everything is out there. It's just that we just think that, oh, with the guidance, it could be pretty long and boring. But this is what you need to follow.
Do Home Office also train people, like the new companies who are taking license? Do they do any kind of training as such?
No, they have left training on people like us.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the difference between license suspension and license downgrading and revocation?
So, we are getting distinguished between three things. Okay. So license suspension number one. If the Home Office identifies after you apply for a COS, or maybe they want to audit the company, and if they feel that you do not have specific kind of documentation as a sponsor, you're not having maybe proper HR system, if they identified any mistake in your license which could be rectified, then they are going to suspend the license. So let's say once your license is suspended, you're not eligible to hire more overseas migrants. Obviously you can hire local people, but you cannot sponsor overseas migrants. But your current workers can continue to work for you until and unless the decision has been made on your license. So that's thing number one. Thing number two, sometimes it happens after the license revocation, after the license suspension or before. The Home Office feels that there is some duties and responsibilities and efforts that the sponsor needs to make as a sponsor. Then they give them an action plan. So when your license is downgraded, that means from A rating it has been downgraded to B rating. So Home Office gives you action plan for 3 months, for which they ask for a fee of about £1,436. And you get 3 months to make sure that the Home Office is satisfied with whatever criteria they have set for you. And obviously the sponsor needs to remember that now they can only be eligible for 2 action plans. If after the second action plan as well the Home Office is not satisfied, then straight away your license will be revoked.
Right.
And you ask about the revocation, right?
Yes.
The third, it means it's over.
Okay.
If the I'll give you one recent story. I have heard from one of the company, it was in the news recently that they submitted a fraudulent documents to the Home Office. Straight away the next day the license was revoked.
Okay.
So let's not take any names, let's not quote anyone, but at the end of the day, I have seen that, and it does not make any sense as well, that why do people apply for a license if they want to falsify it later on. So if you have maybe in your suspension the Home Office was not satisfied, because after the suspension the Home Office gives you 20 working days.
Okay, 20 working days
Exactly.
is given.
To make sure that everything is done right. After the 20 working days, if they're not satisfied, either your license is going to be reinstated, either it would be downgraded, or either it would be revoked. So there are 3 possibilities after the suspension.
I feel like there should be a proper training, we should be given to the new employers, especially they're starting small companies. They just don't know what are the steps involved, what to do, not to do. And
Exactly.
of course, companies like you and more,
Yeah.
they should come and teach people because they don't know. For example, I know in my neighborhood, they have retail outlet and I know they had applied for license. But when I visit them, I really wonder if they know everything about a license and whether they have proper systems in place which is needed by the company and whether they are being trained by the right people or not. I really wonder, and if they know who to reach out to. I don't know. So maybe those kind of knowledge should be there with them. Hey, if they are new, you can reach out to these people. If you're required to be trained, you should know these are the steps you should follow, even though guidelines are provided by the Home Office.
I have one good news for Sarika and the team. MAC25 London has officially been recognized by CPD.
And what is CPD?
CPD is an authority for which you get points. It's like an authority for educational courses, like let's say for legal trainings, for immigration. So we have been granted a certificate by them. We are there on the official website as well for CPD right now.
Oh, really?
And we do get a lot of queries from CPD as well. And me and my team, we have made a course for sponsors.
Oh, nice.
So we train sponsors who wants to apply for a license. We train sponsors sponsors if they are encountering any audits, and also nowadays we train sponsors who wants to do mock audit.
Okay.
So recently we have done a mock audit of a resort. So I think
What is mock audit? You're using that terminology,
Yeah.
mock audit. What is mock audit?
mock audit is something like a rehearsal, I would say. So let's say I'll dress as a compliance officer. I'll wear the same suit.
Yeah.
I'll just come, I'll audit the company, I'll just talk to the candidates, I'll interview them one-to-one, I'll interview the authorizing officer, I'll check all the folders, I'll check the online right to work checks and everything.
Okay.
So it entails, it's like a package.
So let's talk about that in more. So when there are compliance checks which happens, what exactly they do to check? What documents, what system should be in place, and how should people prepare for it?
See, Home Office has not put a specific guideline that you need to have an expensive tool or you need to have a specific software where you can, manage the attendance and things like that. I've got my clients who have got takeaway restaurants and they use a manual HR system where they have a calendar for the rota, for the attendance, they've got holiday forms for annual leave, sick leaves, they've got holiday forms. So all the things you need to make sure that as an authorizing officer, if you're clear enough that this is the system I'm going to use to manage the attendance, to manage the rota, to manage the exact hours which has been specified on the CO. If you're able to do these 3 things, 4 things, then I think you have got a robust HR system. Because what Home Office wants to see, if we have given you a privilege to hire somebody from any part of the world, how are you monitoring them? Let's say, Sarika, I go for a job in the morning at 9 in the morning, okay, and I'm working on a hybrid model. How will my boss know that I have actually started working at 9? What system that employer has in place so they can track that, yes, Amir has logged in at 9. It could be a stand-up meeting. It could be so many things. So when I go along with my team, and when I train people, I say there is a lot of backlog going on with them. They just get the license, but they're not actually aware about of what is actually happening. So this is very important for all the sponsors, or maybe guys who are listening, that you are employed by a sponsorship company. Ask them that how do you manage me? How do you make my rota? When do I get my pay slips? It is really very important because you might not know, it might affect you in the long run.
So it's the responsibility of not only the employer but also the employee. Employee should know it, because if there's any issue, they may not get their ILR after 5 years, and if their end goal is to get their ILR, they should start questioning that, right? So what are exactly responsibility of a sponsor, other than, like you said, maintaining a proper system? It can be any system, it can be manual, automated tool, like your leave absences. Is it also about recording the number of days when they're out of the country as well? Yeah. And then when their visa is expiring versus when it is not expiring, when it's due for renewal. Something like e-visa, they should get a reminder, hey, your BRP is also kind of expiring now. This is a reminder you should apply for your e-visa.
Yeah.
That is also the responsibility of sponsors as well. Right?
Yes.
So what else?
See, I'll go by the bookish terms, okay? I won't make it very generic because of obviously a lot of industries are watching us. So I'll be, making it very theoretical. So the number one responsibility is record keeping, to make sure you have all the documentations in place for all your employees. It could be English, it could be their BRP, their expired BRP, the passport, the online right to work check, employment contracts, and things like that. Then it comes monitoring responsibility. How do you monitor them? How do you manage the attendance? How do you manage the leaves? Then it comes monitoring visa expiry. You need to understand that every year at least you do an online right to work check. You have something to be on your reminder, like make it as easy as keeping it on your phone as a weekly reminder or a monthly reminder that somebody's visa is going to expire. So and the last and the most important thing, to make sure that whatever you have justified to the Home Office for that employee, that employee is exactly doing the same thing in your company.
Okay. So that brings me to another question. While you were talking about, when a license is revoked. So when it's revoked, basically, they don't have the right to hire anyone internationally. It also means that people who are already working there, like immigrants who got a sponsorship from them, it means they also lose their license, right?
Yeah.
So what are the things they can do? For example, I'm working for a company and the company lost the license. And what are my next steps? What are the chances given to me? What can I do?
Okay, so there are two things over here. I'll give you an example of one of my client, not whose sponsor, the license got revoked. Initially, they don't get a curtailment letter from the home office because it is the responsibility of the sponsor to,
Inform the home office.
exactly, not inform the home office, inform the candidate who are working for them that from immediate effect, a sponsor license has been revoked. So you've got no right working for us. What happens soon after that? You need to switch your visa category within 60 days.
No, but Amil, do they not? First of all, yes, the employer informs the employee. Then employer also needs to inform the home office in this case.
They have been already informed by the home office that the license has been revoked.
So then the home office will already have information of all the employees who are working there, right?
Exactly.
So home office doesn't inform the employees. It's the employer who employs the employees here.
So there are two parts. First, the employer needs to inform the employee that the license has been revoked. Then soon after, there is something called as a curtailment cancellation letter. Previously used to known as curtailment letter. Now it is known as a notice of cancellation. Is send that notice of cancellation to the skilled worker that yes, from today onwards you get 60 days either to leave the United Kingdom or either to switch to any other immigration category which suits you.
But that email will be from home office.
Exactly.
Not from the employer. Employer just verbally or via email.
Exactly. Yeah.
I have a question on that. Many times people have reached out to me by saying they have not received such kind of email from home office.
Yeah.
What should they do? Even though it's more than 60 days now, what should they do?
I think the best thing I would suggest is if you think that the 60 days have been passed and you haven't received any communication from the home office, you might, contact them as soon as possible. I won't, if I would be at that place, God forbid, I wouldn't have waited for 60 days. I would have exactly done it after I have known after a week or so that what is the status and what is happening right now. But the home office, I would say, are being very much, fast in terms of giving the responses out to the employees that the license has been revoked and this is what are your next steps. So I think they would get a letter, but obviously if they don't get it within 60 days, then they need to converse it with the home office or automatically switch to other immigration category.
But is it still considered a legal right if they don't receive an email from home office?
See, there are instances I have seen with most of my clients who don't even receive a letter for like 6 to 8 months.
That's right. And even more than a year, I know about.
Exactly.
Yeah. So does it mean they still have the legal right to stay in their country? Yeah.
Exactly.
And say after 6 months, they manage to find another skill visa.
Yes.
Then they are still okay to switch within the country.
Yes. Your 3C life, there is something called a 3C leave. So your 3C leave still continues if you do not overstay in the UK or switch to any other immigration category while your current immigration status is live.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Thank you. So, Amal, you talked about the documents that employers need to keep, but you didn't talk about how long they should maintain that.
Yeah.
So, is there any guidelines from the home office around it?
Yeah, there is. Let's say if you go on online right to work check, when you do my right to work check, you can see that the sponsor needs to keep the documents of all the candidates at least 2 years after they have left the job or until and unless the home office come for a compliance check. So you need to follow either two. Okay. So that is really important.
Okay. Just reading through my notes. What are the consequences of license revocation?
I think you lose a huge part of your privilege, I would say. Obviously, if you make any other application soon after license revocation, you'll always have a tag that your license was revoked, and you always find it difficult to justify to the home office that what different are you going to do in this new company.
So they can still start a new company rather than using the old license.
They can, Sarika, but see, our perspective has always been towards the migrant workers. Okay, we always think from their perspective that what's going to happen to them because people are here with the families. Let's not forget they have like 2-3 kids. They are going to school and suddenly they get a letter from the home office. The license is revoked. So I think it is as much responsibility of the sponsor. The same responsibility applies to the employees as well. I would suggest that you have right to ask questions about all the documents and the duties and the responsibilities. And if you find anything unethical, I think you have a right to complain to the home office as well.
So, Amil, I think we talked a lot. We covered a lot of points. Any closing note from you, like from any clients you handle that you want to discuss any case or any tips from my audience?
Yeah, recently I did one mock audit with one of my client. I won't talk about the industry or anything as such. But when I went for the mock audit, I saw that there were no documents available in terms of online right to work checks. They said we did manual right to work check. Obviously, they had a genuine list of all the people who were working with them, and they genuinely hired them. But the only problem they faced, oh, we did not take the copy of the advertisement, or we did not keep the copy of references. They had everything, but it was all unorganized. Some documents were in the laptop, some documents were in the paper folder. But at the end of the day, we got to know, yes, they did online right to work check on time. They did had all the documentation. They did everything on time. But the only problem was they were not having it all collectively.
Oh dear.
So I think it also makes the clients very, anxious and panic about the situation. Oh, I think I have forgotten doing this or that. No, I know my clients. When I start the work on them, whether it's pre-license audit or post-license audit, we make sure that at the end of the day, you do online right to work checks on time. You do proper reference checks. You make your HR policy very robust and straightforward, and you have got right set of recruitment procedures. So those things are pretty important.
Cool. Thank you very much, Amel. I think this is useful for all my audience. For any employers or people who are on skill visa, make sure you ask all these relevant questions to your employer. And if you're an employer who's watching this video, I believe we have covered a lot of points that you should start doing it if you have not done. And if you require any legal help, you know where to contact. We have also a dedicated email ID, which is ykb@mac25.co.uk, where you can send your legal queries, where Amel and the team will go through your questions, and you can book some time as well with Amel and the team. And I think we have a dedicated 1-hour session for our own audience. The links will be in my video description, where Amel and the team will be sitting and taking your questions. So make sure you use that 1-hour time. Book your slot there. There are slots given, I believe, 15 to 20 minutes or even half an hour. If you find some free slots, use it. This is only for my audience. Okay. Thanks, Amel. Thank you for coming and sharing your knowledge with my audience. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sarika. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.